This is a post from r/Askreddit. What's the biggest red flag when meeting new people? When they're judgmental and critical of others, but never of themselves. You know my father? Yeah, I seen him at the store buying milk a few years ago. Is he still there? I think so. The lines were really long. No, I am waiting for the cigarettes. Hi, my name is blank, and I'm an asshole. Literally how the shop manager introduced himself to everyone. Like it's an excuse. Oh god, this can fuck right off along with the I'm just a blunt person / I say it like it is group. Ugh, I have an employee like this. Most often, these people will dish out the meanest, vilest things about everyone else, but can't take the slightest criticism back. My former manager was like that. She's the reason I quit my 3-year job. She would literally say my performance was atrocious, even though I was the only manager physically working, and then when I called her out on something she would say in front of everyone I was making smartass comments. She can go fuck herself. Right after I left she begged me to come back because I was her assistant manager and there was nobody else wanted or was good enough for the job. Hey, me too, I'm putting in my 2 weeks tomorrow. Got shouted down 2 weeks ago for asking why we don't have a full staff until a half hour after we open. Fuck this shit, I'm out. They put others down and talk about their other friends in a bad manner. Had a really good friend, but he talked magnificent shit about mutual acquaintances, both online and real life ones. While he had some good points and I agreed with a lot of what he said, he had something bad to say about everyone. In hindsight, he was probably talking shit about me behind my back as well. If they gossip with you, they'll gossip about you. When they talk to the other friends, you're the other friend. So when they talk to other friends, they're talking to me. Exactly why this is bullshit. You can have different tiers of trust. Okay, other friend. When they try to one-up you in everything you say. Or even worse than that, when they try to two-up everything you say. I see what you did there. I actually have the best eyesight that my eye doctor has ever witnessed, so I saw it more clearly. I actually performed my own eye test because the eye doctor didn't know what 20/20 vision meant. He was so impressed that I could perform my own eye test that he asked me to perform everyone else's too, and they all clapped. Years ago, I was an optician. Sold glasses. Part of that is measuring the distance between people's eyes, and there's a machine that does that with very little error. You can use a ruler if it's broken or busy, and for most people there's a fair bit of tolerance. It's been 20 years so I don't remember what the rules are. We measured one guy, get something like 63 millimeters, and he didn't believe us. So he asks if he can borrow a ruler, which we say okay. And he starts staring at the ruler to measure his eyes. He stares at this ruler, I mean 15 minutes go by, staring at this ruler, and he eventually says, I measure 59 millimeters. The weird part is, universally, when people focus on something close up, their eyes are 4 millimeters closer than for distance. The motherfucker got it right. They don't really listen to you or pay attention to what you're talking about, but expect you to be totally engaged with whatever they say and act put out if you aren't. The distracting noise coming out of that other person's mouth stopped. Finally, it's my chance to talk about me. Yay, it's like they are not listening at all but just have an algorithm running that looks for keywords in your story that they can relate to one of their stories. Holy shit, that's me. What can I do to be a better listener? I struggle with this too, and everyone's a little different, but for me, I started working on it by literally keeping my mouth shut. I started to realize that when people are talking to me, not only am I thinking about what to say next, but I actually physically open my mouth before people are done talking because I'm preparing to say something. Just keep your mouth shut. Go hang out with a group of friends and say nothing unless people ask you a question. You get used to just going through the motions of listening until you actually realize that if you keep your mouth shut, people have really interesting things to say. Then you'll genuinely want to listen instead of feeling like you need to fill the silence of every conversation. If they can't take no for an answer. Yeah, I met someone, strictly platonic, recently who immediately got defensive when I said I couldn't take time away from my business at the time to do something social with them. They threatened to show up at my house and asked, what would you do then? There had been a bunch of red flags with this person leading up to this point, but that was where I was like, goodbye, psycho. That's not how any healthy friendship/acquaintanceship works. Thank goodness I have enough good people in my life to recognize that. Quote. Sounds like the real-life edition of the meme. X shows up at your house, what would you do? When they start talking about the tons of money I am going to be making with their new business venture in selling knives door to door. This knife will cut right through your shoes. Well, pretend this shoe is whatever you people eat. Maybe it is a shoe. That's one of my all-time favorite lines in the show. When the first thing they tell you about themselves is all the hardship and unfairness in their lives. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. At night, I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep. You poor, poor man. If there's anything we can do to help you. I'd like to take all of your chocolate. Such nice boys. It does my heart good to unzip's costume con a couple of class A suckaroonies like those two. r/unexpected SpongeBob. I am very happy this exists. Same thanks. More than 2 tattoo teardrops. I worked at a Hobby Lobby and some really big, buff guy came in and came up to the register with 5 teardrop tattoos and purchased a pile of felt squares and a pack of sparkly stickers. That's a guy who probably suddenly turned his life around when he had a daughter. Uncommon, but not unheard of. Also, teardrop tattoos are the most painful to get removed. Poor didn't turn his life around but still had a daughter. People can be absolutely evil assholes and still quite nice to their kids. Could just like sparkly and soft things, too. Maybe it was for him all along. He's never committed a crime but got the tattoos so people wouldn't harass him about the sparkles. A bold strategy, Cotton. Subtle signs that they aren't remotely interested in you, and the only way you two are together is maybe because an obligation/favor. People change their tune often when they have to conceal their feelings of disdain for someone. I've been a victim of this and done this to other people. It sucks being on the receiving end of someone's disinterest, but some people just won't like you from the get-go and will just do the bare minimum to not be completely rude. Watch out for body language like avoiding eye contact and turning away their body from you. A polite voice instead of their normal voice is total indifference. Maybe this is because most of the people I know work service. I could hate your guts or love you with all my heart and I can never change my inflection enough to really do this. Sociopaths can be great at changing the inflection of their voice, however. Shit, am I socio? You remind me of a guy I used to date. I mean, that can be a compliment as well. They're saying you're their type, and you have no idea how the other relationship ended. Maybe they were at different places in their lives. Maybe one had to move away. Maybe one wanted kids and the other didn't. IDKY, everyone presumes all breakups are horrible. Actually, that's a big red flag right there, someone who hates all their exes. Totes. I date people because they're good people. If they're good enough to be my partner, they're good enough to be my friend. Totes. Let's be honest. We often see these red flags but deliberately push on to form a relationship. If the relationship goes bust, we critique ourselves for not heeding the warning signs. This is an unjust self-criticism. I know a woman who is dating a guy who dated one of my friends. This guy is, former, likely current, drug addict, alcoholic, adulterous, has cheated on every woman he's been with, including this new girl. Pathological liar, I mean that in the clinical sense, not hyperbole. Narcissist, again, clinical. Bankrupt, over $100,000. Unemployed, or if he is employed is working under the table. Has been engaged 3 times, married twice and has financially ruined every woman prior. Yet when we tried to warn her, even showed her a paper trail and evidence he's been unfaithful to her, she told us to fuck off and stop bad-mouthing a good man. Honestly, we just don't want to see another person hurt. She's now trying to help him get custody of his 4 kids. That chick is going to reap a lifetime of problems and there's nothing anyone can do to change her mind. You tried your best. Love is blind is not a corny expression. It is a deep truth. When they only talk about themselves. I hate that. They should be talking about me. So tell me about myself. Allow myself to introduce myself. My name is Richie Cunningham and this is my wife Oprah. When they bring up topics out of nowhere just so they can spout their opinions and not actually have a conversation. It's very telling about their personality. What does it say exactly? I work with engineers who have to constantly prove they're smarter than everyone. Smart people don't go out of their way to prove they're smarter than everyone else. Your co-workers sound very full of themselves with a superiority complex. More generally, people who just give their opinions spontaneously on things no one asked about just for the sake of sharing their opinion often come off as arrogant and self-centered. Like, I know someone like this and she is the most cocky person I know. This one time, I was in the middle of a conversation with another person about astrology, something I know quite a few things about, and who the other person expressed an interest in learning more about it to tell us about what she thought of a concealer she bought. Saying this louder for everyone in the back. Smart people don't go out of their way to prove they're smarter than everyone else, because they already know. The same can be said for people with money. People with lots of money don't actually talk about how much they have because it's usually not germane to the conversation. People who want to tell you how smart they are or how much money they have are insecure about those things and are probably not either. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Experimental Journeys.